Hi, and welcome to the first episode of yet another expat. My name is Hermes, and this podcast will bring thoughts, stories, and news from a usually tired millennial living in Berlin. It's noteworthy that I don't have any equipment to do this. I have my own microphone and a recording software, so I'm very much in uncharted waters. So everything I do it alone, and this hopefully sets your expectations very, very low. I'm glad you're here. We can do this together. I can be your company while you're doing the dishes or avoiding having that inner dialogue in you. Silence can be hard, but I'm here, and you know what? Do you know how sometimes someone says, you know what, I could do a podcast? Everyone is doing a podcast. This person is me, you know? There's nothing special going on here except for the fact that when you think, oh my goodness, this guy is doing a podcast, I should do a podcast, you are absolutely right. I'm here to represent the people. If I can do it, you can do it, and anyone can do it. So yeah, I'm usually sounding tired. This is because life is tiring when you're after 30s, but doing a podcast has been a desire of mine for quite some time, and there are so many things that come in the way of finding the time or finding things to talk about, and are people going to like it, and all of these intrusive kind of thoughts. And at the end of the day, if you have the desire to do something, that's a rare thing, in my opinion. A desire is such a beautiful, active, scary force that takes you places. So I decided to embrace my desire for speaking words in a microphone and doing this. So thank you for being here. Thank you for going through what will be a little bit of improv or a lot of improv, because I'm horrible at making notes. I will try to keep these episodes about 20 minutes, so it's easier for me to make, edit, and upload as we start. So I'm recording this on a Saturday, and Saturday is a great day to take things more chill and do things slowly. I decided today to go to the barber, because that is always a good idea when you are above 30 and you miss some hair. And I have to say that the barber actually tricked me, because I went to this new place. I live in Neukölln, so barber places opening up is pretty much a weekly phenomenon. And I went to this one, I checked through the door, there are 2 people getting a haircut and no one else is waiting. So I think, this is a good one. One of the 2 must be midway in their haircut. My time should come. As I sit there and I start observing the barbers a bit more, I can see that one of them is clearly a seasoned barber. He wasn't that old, but you could see from the way he moved, from the way he grabbed the tools, he was very much comfortable in his thing. And then the second barber, he was a bit more clumsy. It was quite clumsy, quite slow, trying to find the different tools, taking a lot of time. And I was happy because the barber number 1, the seasoned one, was close to finishing, so I thought my time would come. As I'm waiting there, another person comes and starts waiting next to me, and I feel privileged. They know that I'm going next. There's a nice feeling to that. Checking my phone, kind of getting ready, and then happens the twist. As the good barber finishes up the person, I realize that they have a waiting bench on the other side of the store, right next to the counter, behind the counter, so I couldn't see it. And someone was waiting there. They go up right as I was about to make my move to sit in the chair. I was already giving the looks to the barber, should I come? Are you ready? He was looking at me a bit confused. And then this other guy just goes and sits down. And by then, a third person has entered the store. And now we are 3 people waiting, and I have just lost the good barber. Now 2 things are happening here that are difficult for me. A, the estimated time for everything keeps changing. I love to just get a fast and clean cut, not have to wait that much. One of the things I loved in Japan that I visited recently, they had barber shops that do 15-minute haircuts. You go in and in 15 minutes you're done. I don't have a very sophisticated haircut, so I don't think it should take more than that. Anyway, so now I'm in this situation. The good barber is taken. He just has a new client. There's no way I'm going there. And the barber number 2, he's just so slow. He's taking forever. I realize he's much far away from completing this haircut that I thought. And I'm already something like 40 minutes in there. As I continue to look at this barber, the one that I'm destined to have, I also realize how much of his hands are in the face of the person that he's giving the haircut to. And it wasn't just the really, really bad spatial awareness that this person had in regards to his hands and how much in the way are coming and touching and going in someone's face. It was also stuff like tripping over the cord all the time, not finding the right clip for barber machine. And I have to say, if this person is a practicarium or something, trying to do his Ausbildung there or however you call this, why do I get to be the guinea pig and pay a full price? I couldn't leave because I was there for almost 40 minutes. There were 2 other people waiting. I felt the social pressure is too much. And I said, you know what? Let's keep an open mind. Maybe this is a good barber. Maybe he's just starting now. And, it's better that he's careful than being all over the place. So I will tell you a few things that I hadn't realized so far. And I've been going for haircuts my whole life. Barbers have a way of using their tools that actually makes their hands be away from facing your face. And this is something I hadn't noticed until I had a haircut with this guy, because his fingers and the rest of his hand, as he was holding the trimmers, the scissors, the stuff, very often were just in my face, like feeling the fingers on my cheek, under my eye, and just getting in the way. And it made me realize that's not a given, that your face is not being smudged around. Another thing it made me realize is that he probably had some very heavy garlic-based food during his break or whatever, because every time these fingers would come on my face to hold apart, to do some resistance for the rest of his hand, I could just smell the garlic. And let me tell you, that was the least of my worries. I don't speak any German, so it's always a bit difficult to give a sense of the haircut. And he literally ended up shaving the sides of my head. And then we had to do a very, very short haircut. I was going for a short haircut anyways, but due to a misunderstanding, he just went all in. I will just say that as my haircut was finishing, I think it took him an hour to do it. And then they do the beard as well. And I had the beautiful moment where he held a razor, the one with one blade, like Sweeney Todd type of thing. And then he was trying to get the chair to incline so he can do my beard. He didn't know how to. Another person came, showed him how to do it. Let's agree, this is the last person you want holding a very sharp blade around your exposed throat. He apologized quite a few times, so no harm done at the end of the day, but I was also getting a bit stressed about how he looks to the other barbers, because they were so fast, and one of them, I think, was the boss, because also he had golden barber machine and golden scissors, which almost felt like, I don't know, playing World of Warcraft and having the leader of the gang having just all of the good stuff, or being in a cartel and you have your golden gun. So yeah, I was definitely getting a haircut from the bottom of the food chain of whatever that system is. So I didn't want him to look bad as well, so I said a lot of my alles gut, alles gut. And then they do this thing where they take a mirror and they show you the back of your head, which just makes no sense. Like, this is the spot that I never see. How am I supposed to know how that part of my head looks like? If I'm going down the stairs in the U-Bahn and they give me the point of view someone has watching that. The last time I saw this part of my face was the other time when I had a haircut. Like, I have no point of reference. The funniest thing is that he only grabbed the mirror to show me the back of my head after the main barber did it. He counted a good 5 minutes and then went on to do mine. Now, at the end of my haircut, as a gift to everyone else out there, I asked him to give me a hair wash. And I could feel as he was rubbing this cocoa almond shampoo in my head that I'm, taking a shot to help wash his hands of that garlic for the next person to get smudged in the face while having a haircut. At least have a better smell. Unknown, next person who had this haircut, just know that you owe me one. Actually, you don't, because an altruist. Another thing I wanted to share is that I started doing a little bit of sports again. I have a weird relationship with sports. I used to be an athlete when I was much younger. Then I had some knee injuries and I studied computer science. My work is on computers. So I kind of drifted away from a pretty athletic past. And now when the 30s, they hit like a brick. If you're not putting hours in the system is it's not doing it. And I loved my muscle memory for many years. Good genes, being an athlete as a child, I think that helped me for way more than it should, almost like a decade. But now I feel that this grace period is over. The grace period is over and we have entered the stock market in a very nebulous financial situation, which means I need to work for my body, I need to invest the little bit I can make, and I need to hope that the market doesn't crash. It's not just about me doing the work and investing. I could collapse any day. I know stories of people who sneeze and they herniate a disc. And for some reason, I think that if I don't start being more active, more strong, this will be my future, just sneezing away my hernia. So I started to do a little bit more sports. I really like food and I enjoy eating a lot. Like, I'm Greek, we have big portions. It's something that it was programmed to us as children from our grandmas. You need to eat the whole thing, and when you eat it, you just get more of it. And there is this weird joy that they get from seeing their grandchildren eating and eating. And anyway, but my grandma had this saying that I think really shaped the way I see food. Now, when you are eating in your plate and you leave the last bite, or you cannot finish for whatever reason, there is this saying that she would throw that said that your strength, the whole power of the meal, all of the energy and strength it carries, is in the last bite. And of course, when she said, I'm like, fuck it, I need to have that last bite. I've worked so hard for getting what this food has to give me, and now all that is separating me from it is this last bit of food. I need to finish it off. And I have a lust in me when I see, a beautiful pot of pasta I just made. I just want a big portion. My girlfriend tries to always eat up to 80%, which I think is a Japanese thing. Food takes longer to actually, for the digestion. The digestion is further ahead than the signal you have in your brain. There is a delay between your digestion status and the message that your brain gets in terms of how much hunger there is. So this is really, really right. If you eat until you're 80% and you wait 10 minutes, it's probably going to be 100%. Well, for me, if I eat 110% in the beginning. That then turns into 130% that I suffer through a food coma and a food highness. So, because of all of these, I decided to start more actively doing sports. I also have a smart scale, which when you go on it, it doesn't just tell you how much you weigh, it tells you your bone density, how much muscle you have, how much fat you have, how much fat you have in your internal organs. I don't know how the hell it finds that. And it also tells you what is your biological age. And that can be very painful. I am now 31 and I've seen ages range from 36 up until 30 when I was doing really well. But it's quite painful to see all these numbers every day. It's based on guilt, I find my way around it. I just step on it with my socks. Apparently it needs your bare feet to calculate the stuff. So I decided to start some workouts, but in the beginning, when you are so rusty, I started looking for things using the keywords like easy workout for beginners, stretch, and safe training for back problems, and all of that stuff, just to tell myself, small fairy tale, that this is going to be okay. We're just gonna start small, you don't need to do anything. And the first day I did just stretching, then I did some sort of a yoga one, and it's pretty hardcore. But after 3 or 4 days, it becomes much more mechanic. Your brain does not fight the fact that you need to do this as much. The promise I made to myself is to pretend that I'm in a fitness studio, which means that if I cannot do something in the training, I will still try to make an effort. Maybe I do a different exercise, maybe I just stretch a bit, but I don't give up. I kind of respect what's happening, to my ability, give it a go. So this has been pretty good. I found a YouTube trainer that has a 30-day challenge. This is my thing now. I've been doing this for 8 days, but I'm at day 3 with this specific video because I started with some others. And one thing I really appreciate, the experience, the design of these videos is actually very sophisticated because they show you the time, how many times you need to do it. They show you the exercise. They always tell you in which set you are and how many you have to go visually on the screen. So it's a fully gamified experience where I just repeat the exercises with this person. I know how much I have to do in total. I know how far we are in the set. I have a timer that is kind of helping me say, come on, you can do it. Hang in there. 5, 4. And the best thing is that after a few of these, I don't really need to have the sound on because usually they have some stupid club type of music and the person is just, giving empowering words. But I don't need empowering words. I can do it in my own misery. So I decided instead to put a podcast on. So I'm doing this HIIT type of workouts while listening to podcasts about anything. It's a bit of a weird combo, being heavily breathing, trying to keep it there and listening to a very smooth voice in a podcast. It has been great. We do some of them together with my girlfriend, and I realized one time there was a really hardcore plank-based type of workout. She was shouting, "You can do it, babe!" And I was like, "Ah!" And I realized how that must have looked for our neighbors. But this is how it's going on this weekend. We're close to hit the 20-minute mark. I hope that you're doing well listening to this. I will tell you more about my sporting career that has just started. I also want to share a small thing that surprised me. I've been doing the German bureaucracy for registering myself and getting a tax ID and a social security number and all of this fun stuff, especially if you don't speak the language. And in one of them, I usually go with my girlfriend. When we get the letters, she reads them because she's German. But I have to say I really appreciated one service. I think it's one for your insurance. It's a center where you need to register your insurance provider with. They call Deutsche Rentenversicherung or something like this. And this is the center that when I did my insurance, I had to send it over to them. So they reply to you with a letter. My point is, it was the first time I got a letter. My girlfriend always says, just send me the letters. I will, translate them. I also have Google Lens. I put out the first page. I take a photo. I go to the next page and they have a page for me printed in Greek. I almost shed a tear. I'm paying much more contributions here compared to Greece. It's a brutal higher tax situation. But this was the first time where I felt that, someone cares for me. So thank you, Deutsche Rentenversicherung, for being so nice and kind and sending me something in my language. That was so much appreciated. So I think this is it as we hit the 20-minute mark. Thank you very much for listening. I know it's probably not the most entertaining content of the times, but you know what? I sat here in this microphone staring at a wall for 20 minutes speaking my thoughts, and this is what I promised for myself to do. So this podcast is coming out from Hermes with the weird haircut, from barber number 2 getting tricked in the barber shop, but hopefully at least making the barber wash his hands, trying to do some sports because the 30s are hitting, it's the winter, and yes, basically what else did you learn? That my grandma traumatized me in a way that I always need to finish my food, eat the last bite. There is no satisfaction until the end, no in-betweens, it's either a 0 or a 1. Thank you, have a great week, try to collect some sun in your eyes, and remember to breathe. If you heard this until the end, I love you. Thank you for supporting me in this beginning. This starts. Ciao!